I'm going to come on over to Desmos. I originally did this in my graphing calculator, but this is easier to show through a video. So I'll plug in the two lines. So we have y is equal to 172 divided by 219, x. And that's our green line. So maybe I'll change this color. Oh, you know what? It's too much work. Let's just pretend that's green. Okay. And y is equal to, this is for our purple line, 172 divided by 219, x minus 83.98. And so we'll zoom out, see if we can find our blue line somewhere. There she is. Oops, I typed in the wrong slopes. You can see that these lines are parallel, so I know that I typed in the same slopes. So let me go back right here. This was the wrong slope. So, easy mistake. Just make sure that you fix it. So, our slope for the flight path was actually negative 219 over 172. Perfect. And so here's where they intersect. Let's check it out. So we get the point 40.794 negative 51.941. Perfect. Come back over here. Okay, so here's our point. So now what we have to do, we're getting pretty close, we have to figure out how long it takes us to start at our base and get to that point, going the speed that we are, so 800 kilometers per hour. So I think the easiest way to do this will be to figure out what the distance to figure out the distance from the base to that point. So we need to figure out this distance. Okay. So I'm going to copy this page over and we will continue on the next page. Okay, so recall the distance formula in general is going to be the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, where x1, y1 and x2, y2 are two separate points. So what we'll do is we will use the origin as one point and this point that we just found as the second point. So in our case, if we plug this in, our x2 is going to be 40.794 minus x1, which is 0. So again, I won't write that. Plus, our y2 is negative 51.941, and then minus 0, but I won't write it, squared. And then we can just type that into our calculator. Give me 2 seconds. 40.794. And I get that the distance is 66.05 kilometers. So from the base to the point closest to Mount Rainier is 66.05 kilometers. And so the last thing we need to do is figure out if we are going at a speed of 800 kilometers per hour, so per 1 hour, how long does it take us to travel a distance of 66.05 kilometers? And so the way we can do this is set up a ratio. If we know that we're going 800 kilometers per 1 hour, we can say, well, we know we want the kilometers in the numerator because that's how our fraction is set up now. 66.05 kilometers, and we'll say how long will it take us to do that? We don't know, so we'll just put an x. It'll take us x hours. And so now we have two fractions on both sides of the equation, so we can cross multiply. So we have 800 times x is equal to 66.05 times 1, which is just 66.05. And then the last thing we have is to divide by 800 on both sides. So x, if we type this into our calculator, we get 0.08, we'll say 3. So it'll take us 0.083 hours to get to the closest point to Mount Rainier.